Have you ever felt like nice guy syndrome is holding you back? Okay, in this video, I'm going to uncover the hidden costs of nice guy syndrome so you can reclaim your authentic masculinity and break free. Okay, so many men today believe that we have to be the nice guy to be liked. Okay, but let's face it, this facade leaves us feeling empty, frustrated, confused, exhausted, resentful, okay? And we often think we need to be nice because of some kind of fear or shame. And that's fear that if I'm authentic, if I'm strong, if I'm powerful, other people won't like me, or they'll think I'm arrogant, or they'll judge me. Or it's shame. A lot of men carry shame because the masculine men have done harmful things in the past. We've beaten, raped, pillaged, stolen, used power as domination, been disrespectful, etc., etc. So becoming nice has become an expected currency, especially in today's world where we hear words like toxic masculinity on one hand and, be a man and step up on the other, leaving many people confused as to, well, how do we be ourselves? So kind of being nice has been a nice, easy compromise in the middle. But there's a price to being nice, and the price is that it not only weakens our authentic masculinity, it robs us of ourselves, it robs other people of who we are, and it robs the world, therefore, of authentic masculinity. And if you've watched any of my videos, you'll hear me say this a lot, which is that I feel the world needs more masculinity, not less, just more of all of it, more in a more wholesome, embodied, integrated way. And so in this video, I think it's time to challenge this shame that a lot of men feel about their power and to understand that true masculinity is about clarity, about head, heart, and balls working together. So that's clarity, confidence, and knowing what we want unapologetically, and knowing that that power doesn't have to be forced, that the assertion doesn't have to be aggression, that the intuition doesn't have to make us so concerned with what everyone else wants and feels that we put ourselves, last on the list. So what I used to do was I learned, I had an alcoholic father. So every time I was powerful, it was shut down or met with, violent or emotional resistance. So I learned it's safer and easier to be nice. If I get nice, I create, so if I'm nice, I, create less ripples. I'm more amenable. People get on better with Christian if he's a nice guy, right? But they didn't know me and I didn't know me, and I was robbing both of both, right? So I remember distinctly that time I made a decision. Okay, enough. I deserve more than this. I am more than this. I'm taking my power back. Quick aside, when we work with people, we have actual exercises that get them to do just that. And what happened was I realized that whether people like us or not actually has very little to do with us, unless we're being, overtly disrespectful, rude, unkind, harmful, hateful, etc. But genuinely, 95% of the time, people don't like us because of it's about them. It's about what's going on in their inner world. And once I really got that, I was like, oh my goodness, like I've been giving my power away to others so that they would like me, and I have no control over it, and it may not be based in anything reasonable anyway. And when I did that, I started to listen to my inner voice and made that stronger than the opinions on the outside. And I also stopped questioning myself. So when someone didn't like me, rather than, oh my God, what have I done wrong? Should I have said that? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. And that whole spiral, it was now just like, tell me more. There's something going on inside you. Like I'm here, I'm present. And that's not only much more attractive, it's much more magnetic and it's healthier and more sane and on it goes. So the soundbite is to make your inner voice louder and clearer than the opinions on the outside. And I want to make a distinction here. You have to get to know it. So you have to know this is my authentic inner voice. This isn't coming out of my emotional reactivity or woundedness. It's not coming out of my ego, meaning I'm trying to prove who I am or be someone. It's our inner voice is different. It has a quiet strength to it and it has an unyielding strength to it when it's really clear. And we want you to be able to know where you feel that in your body, to be able to access it, and then to have the courage to express it, to unapologetically use it. And if you do it with heart, if you do it with love and care for yourself and others, you won't be harmful. And that's how we get over the shame of how the shame around masculine power is we do it with enough heart, and then we know our power is going to be beneficial, because I believe we need more positive male force in the world. I believe it's when I'm I often joke when I'm listening to people, I'm not hearing people say, wow, that guy was so present. That guy listened to me so intentfully. Oh my goodness, he's burning with a fire that burns from another world about his legacy and what he wants to create in the world. He can use his mind so well to to strategize and organize his life and organize his mission, right? I don't hear those things. I hear he wasn't there. He didn't do what he said he was going to do. He wasn't, powerful and on purpose. When I leaned into him and needed him, something collapsed, right? And of course, I'm generalizing, but this is what's going on with masculinity because we haven't been trained in the curriculum, I like to call it, of head, heart, and balls, what they mean, how to use them, when to use them, and, signs we're using them at the wrong time or too much. Okay, so let me dial all this down to three practical strategies we can use right now to end this nice guy syndrome. The first is to practice saying no. Like, no, thank you. I'm not going to take that on. I know you're asking me for something, but no, thank you. Like, it's not what I want or need right now, or I don't want to commit myself to it right now, or I haven't got the time or energy for that right now, or I'm just focused on other things. And this is a declaration of our self-worth. So the more we learn to say no, and this, believe it or not, comes from our courage, our grit, which is our balls, part of the head, heart, balls methodology. It takes courage to say no and to know, no, I'm putting me first in this situation, not at the cost or detriment to anyone else, but to preserve yourself. Okay. And that grows our masculinity. The second version is what I call no plus an offer, which is I don't want to I don't want to take that on right now, but I could look at it on Monday with you, or I don't have the time or energy for that now, but I could do this, or I can't do that, but I think this person could help you, right? So it blends our heart and that love and that care and that generosity into our boundary, and it also nurtures ourselves and let other people know we're not going to compromise on our boundaries, and our boundaries are important and they're not only there to be respected, but we respect ourselves. And it's a natural, healthy, relaxed way that we can preserve ourselves. Okay. And the third example is when we do actually need to be a bit more firm. And it's where we say, look, X, Y, Z has kept happening. So I can't keep doing this because of that. So I'm going to need to step back from this. Okay. And it's demonstrating that you will hold and preserve your boundaries and your time and your energy, and that your time and energy is worth something, and not just worth something, but it's something you're willing to defend. And the message that sounds, people you're in relationship is hey, if I create a boundary and you're included in it, I'm going to defend you. So if that's your children, your lover, your mission, your work, your environment, whatever it is that gets included in that, you're telling the world, I'm going to defend that as well because I hold these boundaries as sacred, right? They're there to preserve. They're not there as walls to keep people out. They're there as membranes so we can decide what does and doesn't come through, right? So when you start to embrace these, you'll create more time and space for yourself, but you also start to solidify your identity and that's what makes you dangerous and unshakable because the nice guy isn't there. And what I mean by isn't there, there's no sense of self strong enough that says, this is who I am, this is who I'm not. And therefore, this happens and this doesn't happen. The nice guy's overly appeasing. It's overly considerate of everyone else. They're not sitting there in their core thinking about who I am, why I'm here, and what I want to create in my life and how I'm going to do it. Okay, and that all comes from having an embodied center, and the nice guy's off center, or just has a leaky center, or is too involved and invested in what's going on around him than what's going on inside himself. So, as I said before, the moment you make your inner voice stronger than external doubts, louder, clearer, you become not just unstoppable, but you become dangerous. As in, I don't mean harmful dangerous. I mean you become dangerous to the prevailing culture. Okay, so authentic masculinity is not an ideal, it becomes a lifestyle, it becomes something you live into every day, and it's how we cultivate respect. It's how we cultivate healthy connections. It's how we role model to other men and to our children and to, boys in society. This is how we hold ourselves as men. This is how we be, okay? And being a nice guy does the opposite because there's no backbone, there's no balls there to stand for anything. So we fall for everything or we get pushed over or knocked around, okay? And ultimately, it doesn't let who you are out into the world. You can only do that when you come from your core and you have a sense of who you are and you have a heart with an intuition and a head that's going to help you strategize it. And then you can come out into the world. And if you can't do that, I don't know who you are as a guy. I don't know how I can trust you. I don't know what I can lean into you for. I don't know what you're going to create. I don't know what you stand for. I don't know what's meaningful to you because you're too invested in others' thoughts and feelings and opinions and not your own core and center. So I hope that's making sense. I know I'm banging on about it a few times. So comment below if there's a scenario where you're being nice that you'd like to try and stop, or comment below if there's a strategy like, saying no with an offer, or, setting a boundary with a consequence, like because of this, I need to pull back, right? Let me know which one you're going to use because we need more masculinity in the world, not less. And I'm curious about how you're going to express it. Okay. And it inspires me when I hear about how you're expressing it. So please do. And remember, your desires matter, like your masculinity matters, your core matters, your center matters, who you are matters. Okay. And pursuing them doesn't make you selfish. Okay. It empowers you to stop letting this nice guy syndrome define you and instead embrace who you are and start living unapologetically. And that's ultimately how we get life on your terms and how you define your destiny rather than let it get pushed around by what everyone else is saying. So now that you know this, okay, check out the video on navigating this masculinity crisis. I go into head, heart, balls in much more depth in that video. And also look at building courage in 30 days. I've set out a program of how you can build it. It's got some breath work exercises in there too to cultivate this muscle of courage, this courage engine inside you that's going to help you know who you are and express it and practice doing that in your life. Look at your world. Go out there, own it, and remember that the road to authentic masculinity begins with you saying yes to yourself, and sometimes that means saying no to others. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you more soon. Bye for now.